Hello, welcome back to the channel. We are back in action. That iceberg took a toll on me, but we here. And today, we back like we never missed a day. I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the chase. Today, we are presenting the story of a wrestler, CONMAN, attempted murderer, and San Antonioer. We are also talking about somebody who was wrongfully identified in the Jonestown Massacre. We are talking about a professional wrestler who was also a fugitive that got on the run, faked his death, changed his entire identity, only to commit attempted murder. Today, I present to you the story of Jerry Balisok. I have no idea if I'm saying his name right, and to be honest, I don't care, so I'm gonna call him Jerry Ballsack. I learned about this guy through a YouTube comment on my Dragon Gate monkey scandal video, and to be honest, this is insane. You know somebody did some heinous shit if their own mother said, "He wasn't much of a person, but he was my son," after falsely identifying your remains in the mass Jonestown. Our boy Jerry was born in Biloxi, Mississippi to Coleman and Marjorie Balisok. And to be honest, he seemed to have everything going for him because he was a standout amateur wrestler back in high school. He was so good that he drew attention from professional wrestling promoter Buddy Fuller and began training to perform for the Southeastern Championship Wrestling promotion. And this was back around the time when everybody still thought that professional wrestling was real, so he was told if he competed as a professional wrestler, it could hurt his amateur status. So in turn, Buddy Fuller convinced Jerry to wear a mask and use the Mr. X character. Now, he is not the only one in history to ever use the Mr. X character because it had been used in multiple territories throughout the years. He had a rather interesting wrestling career as he was mainly a jobber throughout his time. He was used as a jobber because he was a rather bigger guy, so the people that would beat up on him. He had later convinced a few different promoters to let him actually win matches, but that didn't go too far. His time in the biz lasted under 5 years. And now I introduce to you an important tidbit in the story. During this time, Jerry Ballsack owned a motorcycle store, and due to this, he almost immediately garnered FBI attention. He was investigated for forgery, and in 1977 got indicted on 13 felony counts of the such. And by the way, those charges for forgery were because he would write bad checks over international lines. His wrestling career began in 1974, mind you. Oh, and now might be the time to tell you that he was never able to wrestle in college due to his professional wrestling career. Somehow, some way, the University of Tampa found out that he was wrestling under the Mr. X persona. Oh, but let's bounce right back to the charges at hand, because apparently he also charged $100,000 to his mother's credit card, because of course he did. The reason for all of this unfolding is because he would pay for motorcycle parts in Caribbean countries with fraudulent checks, and this would happen while he was performing on wrestling tours overseas. And around this time, he was dating a woman named Deborah Kindred. And because he didn't want to face that prison time for the crimes he had committed, he decided to go on the run. He went on the run with Deborah, and then broke into her second cousin's house and stole the birth certificate of Ricky Allen Weta, as well as his driver's license and social security card. And it just gets crazier because before his trial, like before the first day of it, he decided to take Deborah and flee to Miami. After fleeing to Miami, they would later settle in Puerto Rico. And then, by the end of 1978, they would then relocate to Seattle. What is going on? Mind you, this is less than 5 years after he started wrestling. I swear to God, this guy is a Hall of Fame liar, because he forged his way into getting a job at Boeing. Am I telling the story about the Chuck Norris of forgery? But, to get back to the plot, the cover of Time magazine decided to display the dead bodies of those people who partook in the Jonestown Massacre. And Marjorie identified one of those dead bodies as that of Jerry's. The FBI then said no, because they had already decomposed of the bodies. They were impossible to identify because they were already buried in Oakland, California. Marjorie, because she got super angy-wangy at the FBI, decided to place her own tombstone for Jerry. That said tombstone had "Damn the State Department" on it. However, hindsight being what it is, we know he did not die in Jonestown and instead was living a whole different life. The craziest part about all of this, in my opinion, is the fact that those charges for check forgery were dropped in 1984. They dropped them because they assumed that Balsack was dead. This had meant that Jerry could have came back and lived a normal life as himself. The statute of limitations had already passed. However, Balsack Guy did not know this, so he continued to live as Ricky Weta. And oh my god, in the 1980s, whenever he earned a little bit of guala from working in real estate, he purchased a hotel and then lit it on fire to try to gain money out of it, through a whole bunch of insurance stuff that I'm not smart enough to understand. This occurred in 1988, and for whatever reason, his real identity didn't come up when they fingerprinted him. But just wait, because a year later, he got arrested for attempted murder. The victim in question was Emmett Thompson Jr., and he plays a crucial part in this story, because apparently, Balsack shot him to cover up the arson crime. Once Thompson was granted legal immunity, he confessed to committing arson to the hotel that Balsack had owned, but he had done this because Balsack had paid him to do so to get the insurance out of it. Jerry tried to kill Thompson just so the prosecutors wouldn't find out how the crime actually happened. He went through the case as John Doe. His actual identity was later identified. He wasn't Ricky Allen Weta, he was Jerry Balsack. Once this happened, it got near national buzz, and he was later sentenced to 20 years for his past crimes. But wait, the story doesn't end there, because due to a technicality, he only served 13 years of that 20-year sentence. He was released in 2003 and then nearly immediately changed his name to Harrison Raines Hanover. Following changing his name, he would then marry 2 different women very quickly. And both of those women ended up divorcing him. They ended up getting quote-unquote orders of protection for domestic violence. But it doesn't end there, because it never ends there. He would then flee to Costa Rica and get busted for trying to scam Comcast and Cox Cable out of millions of dollars. And in 2009, he tried to defraud the First Security Bank of Washington. Those charges were never filed, though. Like, bro, when does it stop? When does it stop? When? Oh, but hold on. I'll tell you where it ends. Because it ends up ending in Nicaragua. Because he got arrested there, too, in October of 2012. And do you want to know what he was arrested for, gang? Crimes related to the San Antonioing of cupcakes. He was then sentenced to 24 years in prison. And oh my god, you wanna know what's worse? You wanna know what's awful about this? His lawyer was found guilty as his accomplice. Oh my god. And here's where it really ends, because in 2013, various reports had later came out alleging that Harrison Raines Hanover, aka Jerry Balsack, died at the age of 56 due to a heat stroke in prison. However, knowing his history, who knows if he's actually alive or dead? You can't mistake, oh my god. I can't even, comprehend some of this, man. How does this all just happen in the span of one life? How is somebody so good yet so bad at lying? This shit has me stressing, bro. For all we know, he very well could be alive. Nobody knows where he's buried or whether he was cremated or not. All we know is that fake ass tombstone that his mom laid out. This entire story is absolutely insane, and I'm glad that I got the opportunity to learn about it. This might be the craziest story we've talked about yet. So if any of you have similar, absolutely insane professional wrestling stories, leave a suggestion down in the comments. I might end up covering one of them. But that's gonna be all from me today. I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this video. If you enjoyed the video, and if I earned it, I would appreciate it if you liked the video as well as subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten on the iceberg because I really did work my ass off for it. Also, Shedeur Sanders fell out of the first round. This is crazy. And we were watching the draft live together in the Discord server. So, you guys should join the Discord server. We have a whole bunch of stuff to offer, including Zetric's horrible music and sports takes, and Smoofy being an absolute weirdo. Just kidding, love you, Smoofy. But I'm saying all this to say that you should join the Discord server. Join the Discord server right now. Right now. Right now. Join the Discord server. Enough political rambling. Once again, I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Y'all stay safe. God bless.